welcome to Put This On, Season 5, Episode 37, where we watch Back With Your Ex, Season 1, Episode 1. I know that's not the right name, but I'm Chris Lorenz.
Robert Kitts.
Noah Singer.
This is Brian.
This is VJ.
Back with your Max. That's not the name, but I'm sticking with it.
Rob, if this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss how good it is, how bad it is, and every minute detail. Rob, what show do we watch?
For some people, or we watched Back with the X.
The X. So,
The X.
I knew that was close.
Yeah. Off by one word. That's okay.
It should be Back With Your Ex. There probably is a show with that. It's different. Anyway, tell us about Back with the Ex.
For some people, when a relationship ends, it is over for good. Other people are willing to potentially give it a second chance after ending things with a mate. Back with the X gives viewers a look into what can go down when the latter route is taken by former lovers. In a series of emotional reunions, 4 singles reconnect with their exes and attempt to reignite their romantic pasts. That's Back with the X on Netflix.
Thank you, Rob. So this is at least half Love Month. So this is Valentine's Day show for you guys. And there's not a lot to say, but 4 couples that are ex have that broke up, come back together, they have a date, and that's this episode. All 50 minutes of it. So anyone have anything to say about this episode right now before we get into the minutia?
Well, as hinted at in the show description, mentioning the word mate, this is an Australian show. So not everyone, but most of the people in the show are Australian.
I thought it was a weird word choice because, like, your mate is your buddy, your pal.
Yeah, your mate. You
Yeah.
know, the one you mate.
No, I get it. It's an odd word choice.
Yeah.
This is an Australian show by American producers. That has to be the case. That's why they're like, we gotta throw in mate because we'll make it sound exotic because it's Australian, because they haven't ever left like Missouri.
I don't know. You think these
Is
are
he-
American producers? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I just don't think actual
doesn't-
Australian producers would be using the word mate incorrectly.
Well, I think it's this show description is not show description on Netflix. I found the show description on the internet. I don't know who wrote the show description.
Got it.
Producers might not have written the show description.
Right. Okay. So just the description writer then is.
It does say the show originally premiered on something called the Seven Network in Australia. So this was a show created in Australia, and Netflix bought the non-Australian rights to it. And it was canceled for season 2. No season 2.
R.I.P. Who could have seen that coming?
Fun fact: Seven Mate is the sister channel on the Seven Network.
Right?
All right.
It all connects. All connects.
It
All
all
right,
adds up to 23.
It usually does.
Let's get into how this episode starts off. So the first segment for each couple is just kind of one person talking about the relationship, why they broke up. Then they say the other person says the same fucking thing, and we can just see that. Then they meet up, and then they go have dinner, and then they go back to the hotel room, and
And there's a will they or
won't they stay in the same hotel. So let's talk about our first couple, Meg and Jeremy. So they broke up 4 years ago. They were on and off for 7 years, and Jeremy says Meg has an angry bitch phase, and Jeremy left to go to Europe, and that's why they broke up in the first place. Anyone have any comments about these?
I said this while we were watching it. Like, they were dating for 7 fucking years, right? So like, he can't claim that they broke up because he moved to Europe. Like, it's 7 years. Like you like he obviously
That's his
thought they would break up,
excuse.
right? Like he moved to break up. Like that's really what happened. He's like, oh, this is gonna be the easiest way for me to do this breakup is if I just fucking leave the continent, and then I don't have to explain myself, right? Like that's definitely what happened. Because like it's just like if they were truly together after 7 years, like either he would have stayed or she would have gone with him. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
That was his story. Her story was that he broke up with her. So you're
Totally.
probably more right on that front than he's being forthcoming with.
I mean, I don't think he really was able to hide anything. Like, the situation speaks for itself. But yeah.
Yeah. This one, I think there's one couple in particular, I think one is really in and one really isn't, but everyone seems to be willing to trying to give this another shot. Like they look affectionate, they look like they missed each other. They're really, they seem like they're ready for this relationship to start again.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting into this on the past few episodes, but like how they do their contestant screen for this, and I imagine like they really want people to be giving it a shot, right? Like they don't want square off, like fuck it, I'm done.
So I had a question about this. Like, so like basically at the beginning, they can, one person talks about the relation, and the second person says that, hey, like I am contemplating whether I should go see them or not. For a couple of people said that, a couple of people were like, yeah, no, of course I'm gonna go see them. So like, do you think there were like, how many people do you think there were in the situation where like, first person was like, yeah, I want to do it, and second person was like, nah, dude, that person sucks.
Almost everyone. I would have loved to get like think that that's gonna happen, and it doesn't.
Like the blooper reel, right? Like you want like the after credits blooper reel.
It would be the heartbreak episode where everyone's just heartbroken that they've built this up that they were going to meet their ex that they loved, and then the ex just doesn't show up.
The ex and they just show like a message from the ex being like, "You suck. Of course I'm not gonna fucking show up, you asshole.
A bunch of middle fingers.
You cheated on me 17 times. What the fuck do you expect?"
I mean, what would be worse, that or like signing up, going on the show, going halfway through the show, and just breaking their heart this time.
Maybe that's the goal.
But depends if they're like, are you saying the second person is doing like showing up on the show in good faith, or are they showing up with the intention of destroying them?
They're showing up with the intention of destroying them.
But then the second person's an asshole, and the first person like, well, glad I'm not dating this asshole. So like, like then it all works out that way.
I don't know.
What's the thing when Meg first shows up and she sees him for the first time, she like gets kind of emotional and has to kind of walk away and like compose herself again. And VJ said, "Imagine that was just the last we saw them." Like she showed up, they said hi for 5 minutes, she walks away, and it's just done. That would be.
I think like, to be honest, that'd be really awesome for the show, because like it would make the whole situation feel so much more real. Because like right now in the first episode, we didn't really feel like there were any stakes. Like you knew what was gonna happen. But if like Meg had just walked away at that point, you're like, fuck, this show is real stakes. Like anything can happen in any moment.
Yeah, but that goes back to Noah's point of like, when you're picking the contestants for the show, they didn't want to waste their time with people, pay money for people to just like walk away. So like that just wasn't gonna
But like it would have made for good TV though, I think. Like it's like, like you watch American Idol, you want the shitty singers, it makes for good TV.
Yeah,
this is all diving into why there's no season 2.
We could get into like if there's a better format for this later. I think that like a couple per episode would have been better. Like go through the whole 3 weeks. We'll get into it. But at the end of the night, these people go into their separate rooms. Shocker.
Well, they were the only ones who temporarily were in the same room.
That is true. She went into the room, and
but like, are we really gonna like think that's crazy for them not to just like hang out the first night they've seen each other after for this couple 4 years? Like it's like the show kind of makes it seem like, oh, it's kind of a shitty situation, whereas it's kind of the most normal situation.
I think that they were really expecting it to happen.
They were expecting a lot to happen based on those room setups.
Yeah, the rooms are all
the producers, right? Like, but like it just like
I don't know if they
actually-
expected it to happen. I think they liked the visual of everyone sadly looking at the champagne bottle with two glasses. And why did no one just pop the champagne bottle and just like take some swigs by themselves? Like that's why
The one person was drinking a bottle, but it looked like a beer bottle, not a
multiple
Beer.
people I think were drinking beer bottles.
Yeah, they
Okay.
definitely took advantage of the free mini fridge and just going in and be like,
Well, yeah, it just like the producers were definitely just like trying to like poke people.
Yeah, for people that didn't watch the show, the hotel room was all dolled up with
Rose petals.
rose petals on the bed, and like the bath was made, and there was champagne, and like just like a real romantic hotel room set up for the both of them when they got back. And
Like honestly, I think the producers flubbed it for a lot of these people. Like if it were just a regular hotel room, I would say like, okay, go raid your mini fridge, come back and we'll watch Face Off.
the most romantic of movies, Max.
I think like really what they should have done is book them all suites where they share the living room and have separate bedrooms,
Mm.
right? And then still have the champagne in the living room, their choice to take it or not. And then they can go to separate bedrooms or not. Like, you can see what happens.
That's a great
I don't
call.
know. It doesn't force having the question asked if you're putting them in like a living room together.
What do you mean?
You don't get that like hotel room interaction where they go separate ways.
Right. Like the producers are setting up here, like you have to have someone in the couple be like,
Okay, good
"Want
night.
to come back in." Yeah, right. Like, and you're getting interaction where if like you put them in the same room, you can more easily just be like, "Oh, she fell asleep on me. Oh, I'm just gonna walk over there." Right. Like you don't get that intimate interaction.
I don't know.
I mean, you
I
get
think
way
it's
more
a
intimate
decent-
interaction since people will actually end up hanging out. So that way, they don't have two doors between them, which I would say normally is more intimate.
I think Max put it right. You don't get the oh good night, and then are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna nod? Are they gonna ask the question? You don't get that tension.
I think you would get attention when they would be outside the hotel room door because they wouldn't know that it's separate bedrooms in there.
The first time they walk in, not
Right.
not after.
It's the only time.
Yeah. I guess I was just thinking about the first night, but they only
Yeah.
have the hotel room for 2 nights to begin with. It's not like they have it for all 3 weeks.
Yeah, which means like, what's going to go on with that?
I don't
Nice.
understand. So yeah, background story is like the couples will be together for 3 weeks, is what's been decided. But
The
then
production
the
schedule.
narrator definitely said that they have the hotel room for 2 nights. So like, I don't like, are they just gonna go stay with each other or just be at home?
I
And that
assume
one person
they'll-
who flew in from the US will just be homeless? Like, I don't like, what's the deal?
what I assume will happen is that they'll live in there. They live close to each other, I assume, except for one couple, which we'll get to. They'll just like either stay with each other at one person's house or go home.
Well, they did show in the opening that they travel around the world. Like some people went to New York, some people went to Paris, and so it seems like they're going to be moving about a little bit.
Oh, you think these people are gonna be taken to different places as a couple?
Oh, totally.
Well, that-
It looks like where they were sent to had something to do with their relationship.
So we look at episodes 2 through whatever and see what the names are.
Oh, I see. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's annoying. The Wikipedia page doesn't have an episode guide. It's actually a little bit difficult trying to find like the episode breakdown, but
It's on something called Netflix where we watch the show.
yeah, I guess that would be easy.
All right. So I have a question for everyone here. Do you think this couple stays together at the end or they break up? Brian, you go.
I think so. I think that like there's enough tension there, and like once like they actually start getting back into the relationship, I think they'll be back together.
Oh, and I gotta start writing this down. Max, what do you got for me?
I feel good about these two. This is Meg and Jerry.
Jeremy.
Close enough. Yeah.
Beba.
They will be together at the end of 3 weeks. At the end of 3 months, they will not.
Oh, I like that. I want to change my vote to that.
That wasn't the question, but okay. Hold on. Rob, what do you got?
I'm going no. I don't think Jeremy actually likes her that much. I think he likes the idea of her, and then when they hang out, he's just constantly feels like she's being like not super nice, and I don't think he actually likes it.
Noah, what do you got for me?
I'm not going to answer because I know the answer.
He did make it sound like that she's not a nice person, even for like, just like she got emotional at the end of the night, and like it did seem that unreasonable. He was just like, she's a really tough person to please, and I'm like, then why the fuck you here? Like, I just like.
Well, this is the
stay at
thing.
home.
Like he went to Europe to break up with her, and now he's like back, but he doesn't seem like. I think all the reasons why he broke up with her are still going to apply, and I don't think he's in.
Totally. I just don't think he's smart enough to realize it in 3 weeks. I think it'll take him 3 months.
I mean, that's fair. But
That's my only thing. Yeah, but otherwise,
I'm
you and I
betting on
agree.
no.
So does this mean that like we'll do the answers like during this podcast,
We'll do
or
the answers at the end of the episode, so people that
Okay.
want to continue watching it can tune in around.
Wait,
What
can I
if
do
VJ
now?
is going to keep watching it? He might want to watch the whole season. You
Well,
can
I
spoil.
kind of like this show. Just spoiler alert. I kind of like this show.
Well, he can also tune out while we're doing it.
Nah,
Right,
Chris,
right.
we got to come
That's what I'm
back
saying.
in a future episode. Give the answers.
don't-
VJ
I-
will come and announce what happened, and we'll review. That's how you got to do it.
Oh, I don't know. I like
Or
the tension of you find out at the end of the episode. Because I want to know, and I don't want to wait for VJ to come back and say he hasn't watched another episode.
It's definitely possible. Can't deny.
I just like the chances VJ watches this whole season are low. But
VJ watches a lot of content, man.
all right, well maybe
Let me tell you.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about our next couple. So our next couple is Pete and Diane.
Peter.
Peter? Okay, Peter. They're in their 50s. They met in the 20s, and they had a 2-year long distance
Wait,
relationship.
did you say they met in the 20s?
Yeah, not 20s. Yeah,
Of
that's exactly what I
20s.
meant. Yeah, they met in 2020, and they broke up for a year. Then we're in the 20s now, Rob. That doesn't count. This is just like, especially
Yeah.
in 2021.
We are in the 20s. That is true.
So
They broke up 28 years ago.
28 years ago, yeah. Diane is from North Carolina. So she's in the US. He's from Australia. They're both
He was in
divorced-
Florida when they dated.
Florida? Okay. They're both divorced, 7 to 9 years, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Both have kids.
They both have kids. 2 are in college. One has 2 in college. One has 1 in high school or something
Right.
like that.
His kids seemed a little younger. Her kids are both in college.
These 2 people seemed like they really wanted to bone like right away. Like if it wasn't
One
for
of them more than the other, but yes.
I don't know. I think it was kind of equal, to be completely honest. I think he physically shows it more. He's kind of like just more going that way. But I thought they were pretty even on that front. Except he kept saying that he thought of her every single day for the last 28 years, and that
Which
was
is
a little much.
bullshit.
Like, I mean, it could be true.
Including like the whole time I was married, I was still
Yeah.
thinking about her. I was like,
What does it
oh,
say?
no.
The ex-wife, the kids, like, oh, I was having my firstborn kid. Oh, I was thinking of, well, why wasn't it with you? Like, what a fucking, like, who would want to be with somebody like that? It's really creepy.
You should have tried to rein it in a little bit.
I have
It's like,
so
I
many comments about
frequently
this
thought
couple.
of you, but like every day? Like, that's excessive.
Yeah. for
sometimes you
sure.
just say some stuff that you don't mean.
Like, oh, I'm just getting married to the love of my life. It's my wedding. Oh, I really wish this was this other woman. Like,
No, but like, okay. He's not saying that he thought about like that he should be with her every day. Just thought of her. So just on the wedding day, it could be like, am I making a mistake? Should it have been her? Like that could be the thought, and that seems much more reasonable than the other way.
I'm just my mind goes in the direction of this is ludicrous. What does it like really mean if you thought of her every day? But I'm sure it could be more reasonable than what he's saying.
So I have a few comments about this couple. One, like they just had like they had this long distance relationship where they I think didn't mention how often they saw each other, but not that much. They it seems like it could easily be something where they just like love the idea of the relationship, right? Like they never really got to experience the real relationship. They dated / broke up in 1988, which like this is
Yeah.
you can't even text each other, calling each other is like shit expensive. They mentioned that on the show, so like it just they never really got to have a relationship, so they just like I think that's like the sad part on one hand, but then also like they don't really know each other, right? Like, but then the good part is like when they get together, it seems very natural because like I know it was 28 years ago, but even in the moment, they were kind of more used to being apart and then coming together, right? So I feel like that like kind of helps them when they first see each other. Like it doesn't seem as crazy for them.
There's
think
one
that-
question though.
Part of the reason. Go ahead, Rob. Like, your shows.
He Facebook friended her 6 years ago.
Right.
How much have they been communicating before they actually? This is the first time they've met in person in 28 years, but maybe they've been texting or talking on Facebook a whole bunch in between. Do we know?
I
Oh,
believe that is the case for all of the couples.
All of them have to have texted before this. Like, there's no way they're. My question was going to be: do we actually believe that their first meeting on the show? Do we actually believe that?
In their case, I'm willing to believe it just because of the distance.
Right. The other people, I just don't believe it.
I don't know. It's a possibility. Either way. No, I don't know. I didn't find it fake, especially the couple we already talked about, Meg. Like, that seemed pretty real when she just couldn't handle it and went to the bathroom. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like,
So, like,
either
that
it's
sets
pretty
the
real.
expectations.
Right. That's fair.
So it
But
could've been
I was definitely
fun.
concerned about that, like that being faked. Like it's like when when producers knock on your door, but there's a camera on the inside situation.
Yeah. I mean, this couple, when they go back to the room or whatever, they go separate directions. But then for the teaser for the end of the episode, it shows Diane knocking on Peter's door. So,
Was it Diane?
Wait.
Oh,
No, I thought it was Eric and Lauren.
I thought so too. I thought it was Lauren.
Yeah.
I thought it was Diane.
It definitely was not Diane.
Okay, I'm wrong. Never mind. They went their separate ways. Maybe 28 years in a divorce and a couple kids. They're not banging on the first night.
They're in their 50s. They probably just went to bed, dude. Like it's just late. She's traveled from like freaking North Carolina to Sydney. She's probably just a little jet lagged and tired.
You
She had a
don't know
busy
when
day.
she got there.
I'm sure she's been there for a couple of days.
She can 2 days. Like you're not getting over that like North Carolina Sydney jet lag in 2 days.
Yeah,
I've
no.
done it.
You're not
Yeah.
a normal person, Max.
She's twice
That's
your
very
age.
true.
She's literally twice your age.
He's
Yep.
not twice Max's age.
Close enough.
When did you go to Australia?
2016. So.
Oh,
yeah,
at the time, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. You guys talk about the couple for a second.
So like when they went their separate ways, they both really seemed like they both kind of wanted to go in the same room, but they both had thought ahead of like, I don't want to push it too much on the first day. So they more than any of the other ones seemed like they were in a very similar place in terms of how they were kind of in an emotional place at the end, I thought.
I feel that if he hadn't come across as over eager, maybe she would have asked to hang out. But she's like, whoa, this like she said I think on the show, right? Like that she's a little taken aback by it. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's fair, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
so like I think like now she's like being a little careful. She doesn't want to lead him on, which like is like reasonable. They both definitely seem like reasonable human beings, apart from this whole 28-year thought about everyday situation.
This one seems very reasonable. Like, you had a fling when you were in college for a year or two, and then 30 years down the line, like you get divorced and you reach out and you find out they're divorced. You're like, oh, maybe we should try dating again. Now,
Right.
the fact that they're 8,000 miles away from each other, like, that's a problem. Like that doesn't really work that well. But
But it
like,
really was a problem then, right? Like think about like they really had no way to communicate. Like at least like people can communicate across the world now.
Yeah.
So like it really does seem like a what could be like, situation. Like maybe they were gonna be good together. Like you just don't know.
yeah, they're in the same kind of situation, and I could see them, this being a very reasonable thing for somebody to do.
Yeah, they have no negative things to say about each other.
Let's go around the horn again. Brian, stay or break up?
I think they're gonna stay. Just because I think that like they didn't get the experience like much, so like they're probably gonna like this is gonna be like a fresh relationship after like a lot of like other hardship, and they've learned a lot.
Second question for everyone: do they stay? If they stay, do they stay in Australia or the United States?
Ooh,
Hawaii.
That is the United
Okay.
States, Max.
I think she'll move.
Geographically.
Say
middle.
Australia.
Yeah,
I think the States. The woman decides. She's from the States. They're going to North Carolina.
Max, what do you got for me?
I don't want to consider a situation that'll never happen. No way they're staying.
Okay, so break up. VJ, what do you got?
They're definitely gonna give it a real shot. Like no way she's fucking flying 8,000 miles if they don't give it a real shot for a few months. And it only logistically, she has to be the one who moves. He has a son who is not at college yet, so probably spends partial time with him, and he's not just gonna ditch his child. Her children are already at college and out of the house. Logistically, it only makes sense that she moves.
Rob, what do you got for me?
I'm gonna go with stay together, even though like the long distance thing again might be why they break up. And I'll say if he's thought about her every day for 28 years, he's gonna move.
He's gonna leave his child.
Yes.
I just don't think he's gonna leave his
He
child.
didn't think
It's
about his
just like-
child every day for 28 years, VJ.
He didn't say he didn't think about it. Maybe he did think about
The
his child.
child's not 28 years old. He couldn't have. It's physically impossible
No,
that he's thought
no,
about that son for 28 years.
that concept of his son.
right. That's what
He
I
was
mean.
not thinking about the concept of his son for 28 years. I guarantee it.
Every day for 28 years when he was thinking about banging her, he was thinking about the concept of a son. What are you talking about? It's not that son.
I'm gonna agree with Vaibhav and Brian here. I think they're gonna stay in Australia just because of the son's age.
Right. And it's only a couple of years. Like they might, like if it does work out, it might be a thing where like he stays there, but then like once the kid goes off to college, then they can move around. I don't know what does he do for a job? I know she's a realtor.
Oh, they didn't really say everyone's job.
Right. She said that she's a realtor. I remember that part.
All right, let's go on to Lauren and Eric. They're 36.
Oh my god.
They dated for 6 years, and they have been broken up for 6 years. They broke up because Eric was a workaholic, and so I believe Lauren broke up with him. I didn't remember.
yeah. She said that they only got together like one time a week. That's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, but
I
who
have a
broke
different
up
way to
with
say this.
Cooper?
She broke up with him, I'm pretty sure. I have a different way to say this. They dated for 6 years. They dated 6 years ago. They broke up 6 times before that, and they didn't see each other 6 days a week.
Oh, good. That was
Very
good.
good.
You got to come up with more of those.
I written it down, so then I just saw the 3 6s together. I'm like, I gotta say something.
Yeah, this one they didn't come up with a definitive why they broke up, but Lauren
He
said that
just didn't give a shit about her, is what it
Yeah.
sounds like. Like 6 years in, like how can you be dating someone 6 years and you're like, you can see me one day a week?
he's trying to be the next Zuck, dude. You got to work.
Then just live together so you can at least see each other in the evening. You can just like catch each other for like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes. Like just 6 years, dude. It's a
He
long ass
sleeps in the
time.
office, dude. You think he has a home?
He could have just lived at her home. That's the thing. He didn't need to have her home. That's the beauty of living together. You only need one.
Do you think that, he had time to go to her house? Get out of here. He lives right next to his office. And he only sleeps there. He doesn't do anything.
What did he say
except
his
for-
job was back then anyway?
He's still in IT.
Is that what he said? Man,
Yeah.
Missed all of this.
He was IT, but then he was a DJ too. He was at
Oh,
the
yeah.
clubs. Remember, because that's how they met.
Mm.
It's also unclear to me. Like it seemed a little weird. They kept calling him a workaholic, but it was unclear to me if he was a workaholic or if he was just trying to like strap together some cash because the jobs weren't great, right? So I didn't know if like I should be like, dude, why'd you ignore your girlfriend? Or dude, like, oh, he was just trying to scrap together some money to live a reasonable life.
But if they lived together, you probably wouldn't need as much money. You'd
Yeah.
probably see her more often 6 days a week.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he was like just trying to hustle a bunch of shit together.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like he like really talked to her about that at all. Like it seemed like his job was kind of a black box to her, and like he just kind of like didn't give her the time of day, and so like like it wasn't like didn't seem like there was any good conversation about it.
I don't know. Well, we just didn't. I don't think we got a lot on that. I don't know if it was just the editing room floor or they just decided not to discuss it.
The guy also just doesn't have a bunch of personality. Like he's like kind of like just lacking personality.
He was very bland this episode, but
He just has the looks. He's riding them.
a lot of people on this episode.
She, on the other hand, definitely had some sort of a glow up in the time they've been broken up.
Somebody has seen a therapist about this breakup, and she's very much like she was strung along by this guy named Eric, and then after this breakup, she was like, she went to therapy about this breakup and like, oh yeah, he did this, that was very controlling. Oh, he did that, that's very controlling. I can't let him do that again. And then she still decided to go on the show, even though she knows that he was controlling her, whether he knew it or not is a separate question. But like, to say this guy's not going to do the same things again is just stupid. This girl's stupid.
Okay, but seriously, like, do you think that like people are just going to stay the same forever, or do you think that like people do grow?
I think if your problem was that he worked too much, if that was your only problem with him, then like, yeah, I mean, he can change that. That's
There's
fine.
no way that was her only problem with him. This dude
Totally.
is way too fucking weird.
Like,
Like I have a problem with him.
Brian, I think like to answer your question, like people can change. I think it's tougher for people to change when put back in the same situation, right? Like people always talk about, hey, like when they see their high school friends, they're just kind of pulled back to their high school selves. How is this going to be any different?
That's totally fair. I don't know. I like to think that like people can change, and like people always saying like, yeah, they're always just gonna be like that. It's like there's no redemption
Right.
arc.
no, I mean, you're not wrong, Brian. I'm very suspect, especially considering how Lauren act very defensive, like ask basic questions about like, hey, how many times can we see you? Like, and then he's just like being stupid, giving stupid answers. Like,
Yeah, she is totally doing the right thing and being defensive and like saying like what she wants.
Okay, but like, what was he supposed to be like? Was he supposed to give an answer of a number? Be like, oh, it won't be 1, it'll be
I don't know.
3.75
How
on
about
average.
you
Like,
tell me how often you're gonna work? Like, I work this job, and that means I work 9 to 5. Like, so
Right.
and I've got a bowling league. I don't know. Like, instead he's just like, I can see you anytime, baby. Like, well, you have like fucking.
wait,
work.
do that voice again. Do that voice again.
You gotta pull it from the audio, dude. No, it's done.
Chris, can you do the rest of the pod in that voice?
No, I can't. So I think his answers to he was being grilled and he got a little defensive. So I think he answered them poorly. So I don't think this couple went very well. The worst couple, I think, on this show, this episode, whatever this episode
Except-
so far.
At the end, most of us, not all of us, most of us believe we saw her going to knock on his door.
So bring the tape. Get the tape back.
Is that
Oh,
real or
well-
is that some kind of fake out situation?
I guess to be fair, but what if she's going to knock on his door and to be like, hey, I'm out. Like this, I can't. I thought about it more. I saw how today went. I'm out. I would love nothing more than for that to happen.
That would
It would
be
make the
great.
show so much more real.
Oh yeah.
But would you do that right after? Or would you just do it at breakfast tomorrow morning?
Sleep on it.
I would do it right after because like you can't sleep. Like maybe like it was really bothering her. She can't sleep. You know, just like it could be a million things.
That's fair. Anyone have anything else to say about this couple before we go? Oh, there's one thing I do have to say actually. So when they were in their like intro date, it was like super windy, like, but her hair didn't move like at all. It was
It
very
did move it.
disturbing.
No, it did move at the beginning. I believe she said something about it, and then it stopped moving magically.
I have to assume somebody had a lot of hairspray on set somewhere to get that thing from stop moving.
Oh yeah, there were some shots that were no hairspray, and then other shots where it was like, okay, we fixed this problem.
Like it
Surprised-
literally looked like there was a hurricane behind them.
I think
I'm
someone put up a
surprised the
barrier.
microphone worked.
I
Yeah.
think someone like just like if the wind was blowing right like this way, right? Then like someone put up a barrier on this side of them, so then they
True,
were kind of
yeah.
protected more.
It's possible.
Good idea. Yeah.
You know, I don't think they do this for like a reality show. Also, like it seems like a situation where you would have to do an ADR. Be like, hey, can you come back and re-record your lines because there was too much wind, the mic didn't pick it up.
Yeah. There didn't seem ADR didn't though. So
It did not.
They got some good microphones in Australia. They really went all out. Because no ADR. Anyone else have anything to say, or should we go to?
I have two things to say about this couple.
Okay.
Did we discuss the cab ride back?
Oh
No.
no,
Nope.
yeah, go for it.
Basically, so they after their dinner they get in a cab and they're going to the hotel, and the guy asks, "How was the dinner? What was your favorite part?" Like, these are who the fuck says that? What a
Okay.
fucking weirdo.
Someone
I would
who's
only-
very controlling says that.
I could see one scenario where I'd ask that, where like I had like a 12-course dinner, but I
Sure,
guarantee
yeah.
that wasn't the case here.
Yeah, that is a totally good counter scenario. That is not what is happening here.
No.
And the one other thing I wanted to say is somebody was saying like, wow, this girl looks so much hotter than she used to. And I think everybody's Chiron should have a picture of their younger self for comparison.
Chiron. They're what? Chevron?
The Chiron at the bottom, that's like, in Argue the One, it's like
Oh,
person name, real piece
They're
of
like-
shit.
yeah. The graphic.
Yeah.
The graphic at the bottom left.
Mhm.
Just trying to get a
Is
good
it-
picture for our audience.
Is that called a Chiron? Like what this is new information for me.
Max is saying a real word.
Yeah.
This is accurate.
Chiron.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
got
like in the news, like on the news is like the
I got
bottom
it.
thing that says like child in tree, the thing that comes across the screen. That's a Chiron.
Can we talk about why that's your example?
Child in tree. That's like the common like cartoon thing, like on the
All right.
news.
We got to move on.
That's
We
a
gotta
cat
move
in the
on.
tree.
We
Cat
gotta-
stuck in the tree.
We know what we know. We got to move
children.
on.
Yeah, same.
Trying to move on here, everyone.
All right, we
Chris.
got to put in our guesses for this.
Brian,
Chris.
stay or go. Stay or break up.
Wait, Max. Okay, Max. Final word.
Do you remember Balloon Boy?
I'm sorry I did that.
Brian, what are you doing to me?
Okay, I think that they're gonna break up because they broke up 6 times over 6 years, and there's another 6. 666 is the devil's number. Boom.
Damn.
Max, what do you got for me?
Obviously breaking up.
VJ, what do you got?
These guys can't even make it 3 weeks. Like it just can't be true. Like they'll make it 3 weeks because the producers made them sign some shit, and they won't get paid if they don't. But they can.
Rob, what do you got for me?
Dunzo. It's over.
All right, I'm just gonna be the contrarian here. I don't really think they're gonna stay, but I think my odds are okay for them staying. So I'm gonna do stay.
I respect your contrarian take.
I have no real reason to say stay other than they're on this show. That's about it. They're like, I think both of them will give it an honest chance, and we'll see.
I guess
Alright.
like within the 3 weeks they could break up and get back together. What about that?
I mean, it's
Uh,
reasonable to maybe all 4 will be together at the end of the show, and then the internet corner says they all broke up a month later. But
I
that-
don't
you
know.
still
I
win.
again, like I really hope that's not the case. It just the show, like then again, like that's the reason they don't have a second season. Like if you can just predict everything and there's no second outcome, then like what the fuck, right?
Well, we know they have no second season, so them
Right.
having a disappointing ending is definitely a realistic possibility.
Definitely.
Let's talk about our last couple. We've got Kate and Cameron. They broke up 3 years ago. I didn't write down how long they were together.
They are 22. They met when they were 17, and they've been broken up for 3 years.
3 and 3. They dated for 3 and broke up for 3.
Something like that, yeah.
So she's a beauty therapist. He's a bartender. And they broke up because Kate cheated on Cameron.
Except when she says the story, she doesn't say it like that.
It was a real fake out. I mean, I think that was the editors for sure. Where she says, there was the cheating, and it took me a lot of time to get over that.
Yeah. The flip side of that is, if the editors really were doing that, then why in the starting of the episode, the introductions, why did they give it away?
Don't know, man.
Yeah, so it seemed like Cameron was really surprised that Kate wanted to like try to get back together when Cameron was the one that got cheated on. So I was very confused how like this relationship and how it works.
Well, that doesn't seem too surprising to me. If she cheated on him, but then regretted it, but then he's like, I can't get over this, we need to break up, she might still want to see him, and he might be the one who's more resistant. As Cameron says, he forgives and he never forgets.
It's like a tagline for Nick Cage in a movie.
Really is.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the dynamic here that like, okay, you broke up with someone because they cheated on you. Then 3 years down the line, they're like, hey, I'm going on this reality show. Will you come on with me? Because I still want to see if we can get back together. And you're like, sure. That's how I'm over you cheated on me now.
No,
this is the one
we
were talking about the start of the revenge come on. Like you come on just to rip the heart out 2 weeks in. Like this, I hope this is what Cam has up his sleeve.
I was thinking about the other way. So like, she cheated on him, then they broke up. Then she's wanted him back for a while, but like in normal circumstances, she asks him, he's gonna be like, "Fuck you, get away from me." But then maybe the reality TV carrot is what she believes she can dangle in front of him, get him on, and then she can, win his heart. And first part of that plan's working.
Like
Get that money.
You get 10 grand for being on the show or whatever.
Exactly. Like, can you give it a 3-week shot for me for 10 grand? But like, if it was 10 grand out of her pocket, he'd be like, "Fuck you." But now,
if
again,
she paid him 10 grand, yeah, like that would work as well. Possibly. It's a very weird dynamic going on here. But I assume like this is kind of like a breakup, get back together kind of thing that I assume happens frequently. Or not.
It has to be. Like, it can't be that crazy. Like, people cheat and then, they end up together. The only weird thing is that there's a 3-year gap, right? Like, that's the only difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it changes. Time heals all wounds, right? But he may never forget. So I don't the changes the dynamic if you never forget. So at the end of the night, they went back to their separate rooms, and this was not the teaser at the end, as some
This was
people
definitely
at home might have thought. But yeah.
She had a real struggle trying to open the door.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she said it was. Both of them said it was really awkward. So like, feels like their relationship has changed a little bit. Like somebody was apprehensive, which made it more awkward, and it seems to be Cameron. But
I mean, like, of course it's awkward in this situation where it ended in anger, and now they're seeing each other after 3 years. Of course it's awkward.
So you just said that. Are you agreeing that this is the first time they've met in 3 years? Then.
It couldn't be this awkward otherwise, right? Maybe they met each other for like a 30-minute coffee before this, but like they haven't hung out.
Just answering your own question, really.
Right.
Anyone else have anything to say before we go to stay or break up?
Yeah, I think this kid looks like a young proud boy.
I definitely wrote initially before realizing the cheating. Cam is a douche.
Just
Mm.
has that haircut.
Yeah,
Can we
got
talk
that
about the hair
chest hair.
situation?
The
Where-
chest hair.
When they see each other for the first time, they somehow end up in a conversation about how he has more chest hair now.
yeah, like
Well,
four
he's
he's-
got his polo, and he's got like no buttons buttoned on his polo. It goes pretty deep.
I mean, there's some buttons buttoned, not enough.
He's got a nice deep V to show off his like minuscule chest hair.
He does look like someone who just hit puberty, so it makes sense.
I mean, the other guy, Mr. Muscle, he had like a lot of chest showing. He had like a full open circle neck shirt type thing.
Well, and also, his shirt was kind of half translucent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Brian, stay or break up?
I think break up. How the hell do you even get over that shit? Like, you're just like coming on a reality TV show, like breaking up, cheating. Like, why?
Max, what do you got for me?
I don't know, because they showed us something in the teaser that was either I'm breaking up with you or I want you to be my girlfriend. I'm gonna go with stick together.
VJ, what do you got?
They'll be together.
Rob, what do you got?
I didn't have a really strong feeling either way. I'll go with together. I'll try to be optimistic on this one.
I'm also gonna go with stay. I think all four are gonna stay together. You can take it.
Historically, that fucking never happens.
Yeah, but I think 3 out of 4, and I don't know which the one is gonna be. So I feel like the odds to get 3 right are better than the odds that I
Good
get
job
4
playing the
right.
game, Chris.
You know, gotta take the bets. All right, I think what are people's opinions here? Do we want to know the answers?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that
I have some questions before that, though.
Okay.
So, like, we'll talk about how we felt about the show. Has anyone in this, like, I guess there's 6 of us here, has anyone ever been in a situation where they, like, dated someone, then didn't talk to them for, like, some amount of time, greater than, let's say, 3 months, and then dated them again?
No.
No.
Okay. So I've done this 3 times.
Oh.
You're the expert. That's not fair. You're the expert on this.
Like same person with multiple breakups or different people?
3 different people.
Was there a second time with one of the people? Was there really 4 times?
3 different people.
What?
3 different people. 3 times, 3 different people.
Yeah. Just 3 instances. Like, you just, I don't know, you're confusing me now. But anyway, so, like, I think, like, maybe that's why I enjoyed the show a little more than the average person on this call.
So we got to get you on season 2. We got to make season 2 happen, and then because
Yeah,
you're
we
the
gotta
candidate.
I mean, I'm good. I'm
Best
like,
spin-off.
again, clearly, like, at this point, I should have really learned it doesn't work out, right? So, like, like, maybe
So you're not with any of these people, right? Like 3 people, 3 different situations, and your current girlfriend is not one of these people.
Yeah,
Just
correct.
setting the expectations here for
Right.
everyone.
100% correct.
All right, let's do some questions here. Who's the worst human being in this episode?
Eric.
Definitely Eric.
You think it's Eric?
Jeremy.
I mean,
I just
Jeremy's a
think-
contender.
I don't know what about Jeremy. I just didn't like him from the start. Like, I mentioned it multiple times when we were watching it.
Like his smile is creepy.
Yes, but he's not like
And-
bad really as a person. Like
I mean, he
Eric
kind of
is
just
worse.
bitched about Meg like
Yeah.
multiple times.
He definitely said Meg was angry and bitchy sometimes.
yeah, no, he did do that.
And then she's hard to please. It's like, okay, dude, what are you doing here? Are you just on TV to like make her
Like-
look bad?
He more than anyone else gives me the vibe of I want to be on TV. Oh, I could try to rekindle with this person to make it happen, but he's not actually into it.
Like, Eric didn't do anything bad on the show. He's awkward and dumb. Like, he didn't do anything bad.
I mean, there's signs of being very controlling that align with his previous stuff. That the pattern isn't looking good.
Yeah.
Both
That's
Eric
fair.
and Jeremy seemed annoyed they didn't get invited in.
Which again, like after years you're meeting this person. What do you like? I don't understand.
Well, half the reason they're there are to bang the other person. Come on. That's what they
Well,
want.
it's 3 weeks. Just like it's fine. Like 20 times instead of 21 times will work out.
They can,
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at either of them. I don't think there's a real need to decide between the two. There is no host, so let's skip that question. We talked a lot about the minutia, so we'll skip those questions unless somebody has a minutia they want to call out. Let's do drinking rules. Anytime you look at your phone for more than 15 seconds, take a drink.
Oh no, I'm gonna be really drunk.
Doesn't that apply to every show we watch, Chris?
That's in our generic drinking rules section. All right,
Chris is the Jeremy of this podcast.
Rob, what's your drinking rule?
I think there needs to be a drinking rule around just seeing the photos from when they used to date. Although, I know we need to get more specific. Like when you see a photo of them in sort of matching onesie pajamas together, or something. But
The more absurd the photo, the more you drink.
yeah, because there's a lot of photos. Like drinking for every photo might be too much. But yeah.
Whenever you see a kissing photo, you definitely take a shot.
Oh yeah.
Brian, you have a drinking rule?
Mine was gonna be kissing. Every time there's an awkward moment, take a shot.
Like
Cool.
a liquor shot? Like what do you
You
want
guys
people
are-
dead?
You
Like
guys
we're
are shots.
this is not officially endorsed by the podcast. We do not expect people to die while
No,
listening to this podcast.
We don't expect you to die. We expect you to drink responsibly. We're just providing the rules that you can follow.
No, you
That
have-
will kill you.
You have a drinking rule?
Every time they say some fun Australian slang, like calling Parmesan Parmy.
There you go.
I missed
Max,
that, but I love that.
That's pretty awesome. I like it.
It's a blues word for sure. Max, you got one?
Every time somebody makes a move, you also have to make a move in real life.
Towards
if
the drink or
somebody,
another person.
Somebody steals a kiss, you gotta do the same thing. Them's the rules.
I thought he was gonna be like make a move, like shift over to the next seat on your couch. That's it.
So Max, I think the obvious question, you're watching this by yourself.
I'm watching it with my puppy.
I don't know if that's the right answer.
We're moving along.
All right, I got one last rule for everyone. Anytime you see alcohol, so if you're drinking alcohol, there's alcohol on the screen, you take a drink.
You have to drink the same alcohol that's on the screen. So when they showed 20 shots of champagne bottles, you have to be popping champagne.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
you gotta
no.
be prepared.
Okay.
Let's see. Would this show be better as a Quibi?
No.
My favorite.
I think I'm gonna give it a maybe. I think if you had just one couple and you just have 5 minutes of that couple,
Like this would
That'd
be
be okay.
like 4 Quibbies to do one couple.
Yeah.
Instead of
You know what this
20
show would be better as? Like 4 TikToks.
just 21 seconds
now
instead
you're
of
talking.
20 minutes. I'm gonna go with no. I think it's just it would be boring just along with the show, so I don't think it works either.
Regardless of any format, it's gonna stay boring.
Regardless of the format. Do we want to discuss what show inspired the show? Does anyone have any ideas? Like Dating Connection?
A lot of dating shows have inspired the show. I'm trying to think there's something specifically about rekindling with people you knew before.
What's a dating show that puts people together for a period of time?
I mean, Married at First Sight?
Like,
I mean, I didn't have to get married. That might be.
this
might
could
be
be
a
like
lot
a
much.
Temptation Island inspiration,
Bachelor?
But The Bachelor's not anything like the show, though.
Wait,
No,
And
but
a related-
they put people together for a temporary period of time. That's what I was building off of.
I had a related question to this. Do you think there's going to be a cross couple hookup? Because they're all in the same hotel.
I
How
was
great would that be?
We don't know
I
if it's
don't-
at the same time though.
Vaibhav, we're gonna come back to the production schedule.
Oh, we are?
We always do.
We got to.
All right, let's do the production schedule, guys. I assume it's 3 weeks long, and they have a camera crew for each group.
There's no way all of these people are at the hotel at the same time, because then they have to have like quadruple the camera teams.
It's definitely the same camera crew at different times at the same hotel.
So you're saying that they filmed this over each couple is staggered, or they filmed
Yes.
this over like 3 months each, or 4 months, and each couple got a whole month.
Yes.
That's the same option. What's the difference of those options?
The staggered, as in like, okay, Saturday, Sunday, you're at the hotel. Monday, Tuesday, you're at the hotel. You know, Wednesday, Thursday, you're at the hotel, and then they
No,
just
we're-
have.
I
different
think
film
the
crews.
belief is that like people, there's always a camera crew with these people, and like there'll probably be at dinner, and people are having dinner at similar times. So like,
Well, the real
it would have
question
to
is,
be.
do they have 4 film crews filming this all at once, or do they have one film crew and film it sequentially?
That's
One film
definitely the right question. That's definitely what Max and Rob have been answering the whole time.
Well,
So,
then I asked the question, and then you were confused. Then you got confused.
I will
think
give the
it's-
same answer I gave 5 times. It's one film crew.
Yeah, I know your answer. I think
I'm-
it's asynchronously.
Uncertain. So can I give a little bit of spoilers looking ahead at the episodes? People okay with that?
I think we give spoilers till after ratings. We got to
Now,
give
let's do
ratings.
ratings, then we'll
And
talk
we
about
got to
it.
give the spoiler warning, and then we can give spoilers.
Cool.
It's a
Let's,
fair ruling, Judge Rob.
All right, so let's do it. Ratings. So we do a stack ranking system where we rate this reality show compared to other reality shows in a top, middle, bottom buckets. Brian, what do you got for us?
I think it's straight in the middle. It was a reasonable show, and I think that this could create some good awkward moments.
Max, what do you got for me?
Middle third, bottom of the middle. I was very bored, but the production was reasonably done.
Vaibhav, what do you got for me?
I got top of the middle.
All right, no explanation. Rob, what do you got for me?
I already gave an explanation. I related with like we already talked about this.
I know,
You
we
gotta
got a whole-
recap, BJ. You gotta
we have a
recap.
whole 50 minutes to an hour of you explaining it, so it's fine.
I'm agreeing. I think this goes in the middle. I thought it was kind of fun. It could go up and down because like this was heavy on the intros, and so I'm curious how it goes when we're not introing and we're kind of going through it. But I'm kind of intrigued, but it wasn't super interesting. So middle third is right where it belongs.
Noah, what do you got for me?
I am so surprised. After I pulled the needles out of my eyes when the show was over, or how boring this was, then it would move up from to the middle. But the actual show itself was just so boring.
It was
It's not
really
bad.
boring.
It's just boring. And for that reason, it's going in the bottom. It's middle of the bottom, reserving bottom of the bottom for real hot flaming shit, which just is not. It's just boring as fuck.
Max,
Proud of
do you
your
wanna-
bravery, Noah.
Max, do you want to revise your rating?
I do want to say, like, I was thinking maybe bottom, but I'm gonna stick with my bottom of the middle.
This is a
I-
relative rating, guys. Like just to be clear, it's a relative rating.
Yeah.
Just the actually, Chris,
Yeah. Well, let me do the
you
ratings
go.
here.
Yeah.
Mr. Noah Singer first. I agree that the show was boring as hell, and I was on my phone like the whole time. But I'm gonna put it in the middle because I think that they got me to somewhat care about these people, which is like weird when I really don't. So like it's it gets like a meddling just for that. Like I think the production schedule and the idea is okay. And I think it could have. They really need to speed it up a little bit. I think. Which who knows? Future episodes could do that. But I will not be watching them. But
How many
No,
episodes
sir.
are there?
7.
Uh,
There's 7 on Netflix.
there's a special 8th one on the Australian
Channel
network.
7.
Can I do it? Can I do another question poll?
Sure.
Chris, I'll start with you. Who out of the 8 people, who did you care about most? I'm asking person, not couple.
Yeah, I got it. I gotta look at the people again. Let's see.
You got Meg and Jeremy. You got
Yeah.
Peter and
I don't
Claire.
know. I feel like
Diane, rather.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
let's see.
Okay,
I
Chris has
did-
got no answer.
I don't know. Somebody,
I'll
else,
answer.
somebody else. Go.
I'll go with Diane. I thought both the two older people were, I thought, the most interesting and stuff. And his as we've discussed, is I've thought about her every day for 28 years is a little off-putting. And so I'm really curious where she's at with her head and how this is going to work out for her.
I have my answer now. I'm gonna go with Lauren. I think that her like transformation into being pushover from Eric is like, I want to see her really fight back against this like supposedly controlling person. I don't know, but she seems to have made like a personal transformation that I think hopefully gets her through this into the breakup that she probably needs.
What about you, Brian?
I was gonna say Lauren as well. I was interested in her transformation.
Max?
I don't care about any of these people. I'm sorry, guys.
What about you, Noah?
More on the Max page, but if I had to,
Heartless. Just heartless people over here.
my heart is only so big. But if I had to choose, I'm going with the older couple as well. I just think they have.
I asked person, not couple. That was
You
very
gotta
clear.
pick
I
one,
clarified.
Noah.
I know I don't want to go the I know the question and I'm rejecting the question and going with the couple because they have a lot of just background with them, and I found that interesting. A single person, I'm gonna go with a grip, maybe a PA. I'm just gonna take a bet they're more interesting.
I doubt it. All right, let's get to spoilers.
No, what's VJ's answer?
Easy there, buddy. No. Peter. I definitely care most about Peter. This guy, like, he is truly trying to live out his life dream. Like, I believe when he says, like, as weird as it, but like, this truly means something to him. Everyone else is just fucking around.
This is the old couple, the guy in the old couple.
Right.
People that don't really know the names, like me.
Like, this is a big deal for him.
So let's get to spoilers. So skip ahead, or you can listen to us next week. Noah,
Yeah.
who is together and who is not together?
Yes, of course. Before that, and why I bring up the Wikipedia article, I do feel a little validated. The Next Web, everyone's favorite website, does validate me, saying Back with the X is definitely Netflix's worst original show. So,
It's not
It's an original.
It's loosely original.
yeah.
Right.
They bought
like,
it from Australia. So like,
they've syndicated it.
Yeah.
Also, you found somebody on the internet to commiserate with you. Like,
we found on the internet somebody to agree with you, Noah.
I do feel good though. I did not go like cherry picking for that. That was like on the first or second page of like Back with the X Google search.
Have you
Sure.
been on the internet?
But who's still together?
Yes. So going to who's together. Let's start with Jeremy and Meg. They came together in the last episode,
Okay.
but have split since. So basically, what VJ said.
Nice.
I
He
mean,
kind of nailed it on the head.
all of them are probably split since now.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's not a. So stay. So
we'll
far,
see.
Brian, Max, VJ, and Chris get 1 point. Rob 0
Point.
points.
Points on the board. Okay, next we got Diane and Peter. They get engaged in the last
What
episode,
the fuck?
Oh.
Gosh. Yes.
but have since split.
So
Damn
Brian,
I think we should go with the initial, whatever you.
No,
voted
the
for.
initial is what we were voting
The
on.
scoring. I was just kind of celebrating their life,
Yeah.
Since
He's
I
just
care about
invested
Peter.
in Peter. He was excited for Peter.
Brian, VJ, Chris, 2 points. Max and Rob, 1 point.
All right, next we got Cam and Kate. After the last episode, they moved in together,
So they stay together.
but split.
Shocking.
that was good. That was well played, Noah.
So VJ, Chris, 3 points. Brian, Max, Rob, 2 points.
All right, and then
Comes
last,
down to Lauren and Eric.
Lauren and Eric. In the last episode, Lauren decided she did not want to be in a relationship with Eric.
Oh.
Good job, Lauren.
VJ is the winner with 4 correct answers.
VJ is doing a little celebration dance. Unfortunately, this is an auditory media.
Everyone else has 3 points. So, you know, I
Oh,
think
everyone
VJ
else had 3 points. So we
Yeah,
need
everyone got one wrong except for VJ.
This
Nice.
might be the best predictions we've ever done.
We're getting
yeah.
good at this, Max.
Been in the reality TV show game
We
for
don't
several
really
years
do
now.
that many predictions, though.
But
You
when we
could-
do, they're not good.
All right. Well, that's it for this show. Let's do some shout outs. Brian, you got a shout out this week?
Keeping on with the Expanse. It's getting so much better in season 2.
Max, you got a shout out this week?
Yeah, I've been listening to a podcast called Blowback. It's kind of a history of the Iraq War, but focuses more on the minions who do all the evil planning. It's really well done. Blowback.
VJ, you got a shout out?
Yeah, I got a couple. So continuing with the MCU watch, Infinity Wars is next, so I'm very pumped for that. But then on more reality TV front, a couple of weekends ago, so I guess Wednesday, so yeah, 10 days ago, I just watched the whole season of Marrying Millions just in one sitting. It was never, I don't know if we ever paused it. People might have gotten up to go peek. There's, it's shitty reality TV, so it
This
doesn't
is
matter.
a autoplay disaster. VJ.
This is, I mean, it was very intentional. There was just 4 of us watching Marrying Millions the whole day. We watched, it was interesting. I thought I don't know if we've covered that show previously, but
think
if we
this
haven't,
is one in Seattle, right?
one in
there's
Seattle.
There's a
So-
couple in Seattle.
I think
I'm
we
gonna
have.
say, marrying sounds like a love show.
Pretty sure we did this.
We'll have to check. If we
We'll-
haven't, then we should.
We'll go to the
take a
tape.
look.
We'll see. But I don't
But
think
yeah,
we've
but
done
the
this.
show
specific
basically
show.
is like someone marrying someone really rich, and then they just kind of and there's just they had a good variety of different couples, different situations.
Marrying Millions, season 5, episode 12.
Oh,
We watched because there was I don't know if they were in the season you watched. There was a Seattle couple, so it's
Yeah.
part of Seattle month.
I got it. But yeah, that was interesting. We just watched the whole season. It was good.
I think you like that better than anyone else on that podcast. So there you go. Rob,
I don't know
do
what
you
season
have,
I watched.
Rob, do you have the shout out or do you have a different shout out?
D shout out. What's D shout out?
The Masked Dancer, obviously.
I've not watched any more Masked Dancer since the podcast. I have an anti shout out. So I said on the pod before that I was starting to watch some of Ratchet on Netflix, and so I finished Ratchet, and it's no good.
No good.
What is Ratchet?
In
Is it reality
theory,
TV or not?
it's a
beloved prequel to something or another.
in theory
Yeah.
it's a prequel to a movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'd
Hmm.
never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so I watched it first. And the show is like nothing like the movie, other than the fact that one character is the same name of someone from the movie, and they're both nurses. And it's just like the connection is so bizarre, but the show is just super weird and not that interesting.
Well, there you have it. Noah, you have anything? Give a shout out.
I will have a shout out, but would y'all mind if I give spoilers on the Masked Dancer?
Please do.
Yeah, no one cares.
Good.
Go ahead.
Our favorite.
They don't even care.
Vinny was one of the dancers.
Oh shit!
From the Jersey Shore?
Vinny from the Jersey Shore. Yeah.
Now
Okay,
I care
I
about
can
the
see
Masked
that.
Dancer.
Max is gonna go back and watch that episode.
No,
Was he
All
on the
all the
episode we
before
saw,
missions.
Noah?
I don't know. He was the Hammerhead. I forget if he was.
He was on the episode we
Oh,
saw.
shit.
Oh man.
That makes sense. The Hammerhead, oceans, beaches. I see how they make that reference.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, looking at the contestants they've had, Ice-T, Bill Nye, Brian McKnight, Vinny, Jordan Sparks, and then Elizabeth Smart, for the most part, they're like decent.
Okay, have we talked about Elizabeth Smart?
Who's Elizabeth
Besides her
Smart?
as a contestant.
Okay,
Yeah,
Elizabeth Smart is famous for being kidnapped when she was 14 years old.
correct.
How could anybody possibly guess, oh, the person under this mask is Elizabeth Smart?
Yeah.
They
Like-
got clues, Max. They could hear her voice. Don't you know how she talks?
What are the clues? I was 14 and I got abducted?
That's also a really fucked up criteria to like make for coming on the show.
Maybe she's a TikTok star now.
Oh my god.
I mean, she's a child safety activist now, and so like if they can bring attention to her activism, I think that's great. But compared to the rest of the contestants, it is a non sequitur. It doesn't make sense.
Well, welcome to watching that kind of show.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, but my shout out for the week, I'm gonna go Obama. I am almost done with his book, a 28-hour audio book, and have like 20 minutes left. Pretty entertaining. Definitely gets you fired up, ready to go to serve in the government.
My shout out this week goes to two podcasts. I've been listening to The History of Rome. I'm a little late on it. It was like from 2008 to 2012. But it's very interesting, and his follow-up podcast.
Rome fell a long time ago.
Yeah. But the podcast about the history of Rome,
Rome still exists, Noah. You can go to Rome. Well, you can't because there's a pandemic, but
Yeah, I don't think it makes the modern day Rome, but his second podcast, Revolutions, is all about like political revolutions in the last like 300 years. That's actually been really interesting too. So those are my shout outs this week. I've
been giving them a shot based on your last shout out. I've been trying the Russian Revolution. It feels like a bit easier to listen to podcasts than hardcore history. If I don't like, it's a bit more bite-sized, just slightly easier. So like you can kind of like get progress. Where hardcore history, you're like, okay, I'm buckling up for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, but I want to buckle up for 3 hours in hardcore history. But yeah,
I have a question. Is in the Revolutions podcast, are there only positive revolutions or positive and negative revolutions?
I think so. I think they're all revolutions that like have occurred. Like the first one is the English Revolution.
But
where,
It's all
teeter
positive.
totters.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, like this is the 10th episode. I scroll back through, and it's all them. From what I can recall, they all resulted in overthrow of the government, right? And they become the ruler.
Yeah, they're successful on some level. They're not like
I understand.
they
No.
attempted-
When I say positive, like when like bad people overthrow the government and take over, that's also a revolution. It's just not a positive situation for the world.
Generally,
I'm not-
it's a populist revolution, not a military coup or anything like that.
I understand, but there have been populist negative revolutions in the world.
I mean, look at Myanmar this week.
Yeah,
That was not necessarily populist.
No, but that's like military. They're not doing military coups, or they did the French Revolution, which is a populist coup, and like they killed a lot of the bourgeoisie, as you would say. So like, is that a positive? He's done successful revolutions. He hasn't done like attempted revolutions that failed necessarily. So you'll hear a revolution, and there's 10 seasons, and this is the last season. So
Oh, really?
there's, like,
He's done?
this is his last. He'll probably do another podcast after that, but I have like 200 plus episodes to listen to, so it'll take you
It's
some.
impressive how much content he's pumped out over like the past 8 years. It's insane.
No, it's been over a decade, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we talked about 2008, right? So then
the history of Rome one was a long time ago. The revolutions might just be a decade. I don't know, or less 8 years or so. So
Yeah, so I thought, the revolutions like was from 2013.
Yeah. The history of Rome was before that, like 5 years or so it took him to do that. So anyway, you can find us on Twitter at whobutthison. You can find us on Facebook.com. So should be this on. You can ask questions and suggestions at whobutthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time. Good story. Save it for the
Nice.
pod. You should say it on the pod.
Yeah, that's okay if it's on the pod.
That one's not pod appropriate.
Yeah.
It would only make sense with visual.